Messed this up. I got to put this mic in.
Test, test. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Vern. Good afternoon, Charles Green. All right, let's get into the discussion today. I know a lot of people like Vern, myself, a lot of us have our own business. Now, my business is taking a tank right now because of the market, also because people are doing horribly without money. And I started my business in the pandemic, essentially. I've been doing the business for a while, but I've started to try to earn some equitable income, some profitable income from my business, but it has not been doing so well because of the market and the current conditions of the economy, whether it be the pandemic. And now I know a lot of people, especially here in Texas, their businesses are not doing as predicted because of this winter storm that we're currently in. But a lot of questions have been coming to me about, well, I don't want to start my own business. I do not want to incur the risk of owning my own business. So essentially, I am pushing people to become private investors. Okay. Me, myself, I'm looking at a few ventures to invest a little bit money into. So basically, a private investor is a personal company that invests their own money into a company or startup company or something of the like, or maybe a company or organization, corporation that needs some extra cash. But with this is with the goal of helping that company to succeed and getting a return on your investment. Some people are asking, well, how much money would I need to be a private investor? Because essentially, a lot of us don't want to start our own business. We're perfectly fine working on a job, but we like to make a little bit of money on the side. And a lot of that money could come from investing inside of a business, in addition to stocks, bonds, ETFs, and other precious metals. So basically, there is no minimum at all of the amount of money that you need to invest. But some investors, some organizations are going to say, well, we want you to at least come with $500. We want you to at least come with $3,000. But the most number I keep hearing repeatedly is $10,000. You need at least $10,000, in my opinion, from my perspective, of the amount of money that you need in order to start your own business. Okay. There are basically two main ways for the average individual to become a private equity investor. And perhaps the easiest way is to find a local company, okay? A local company that you can drive to. You can talk to the CEO, you can talk to the executives, the VP, either small or big, okay? That use some sort of extra capital and buy in as a partner. That is the best investment that you can make. Not just one that gives you the amount of money at a certain interest rate, but if you can buy in as a silent partner, because you would be, first and foremost, you would be a private investor that turns into a private partner. And the only thing you do is put up a lump sum of cash. And from that moment on, you're a partner, always retaining, always gaining, always profiting off of returns of that investment. Okay. So you can be a partner that absolutely has no decision making in day-to-day business operation, but you're a partner in the sense of the amount of money that you put up in order to get a return. There's a lot of Black businesses in the Dallas area that I wish I was a part of, essentially. Now, a lot of these businesses do cause because of their location. Took them roughly $1 million for the land, for the lease, and or building the building to build out to the restaurant or organization they want it to be. But there are some small businesses where a $5,000, $10,000 loan could have got them over the hump with a certain interest percentage. But essentially, if you are a private partner, you will continue to receive that money each and every month, each and every year, as long as the business is doing well. You don't want to dive too deep into this. So you have to understand some of the risk factors nonetheless, okay? But as we're looking at this, a lot of people, when they think about private equity investors, they're thinking about what they call an accredited investor. And an accredited investor is a person with a net worth of $1 million or more and annual income of $200,000 as an individual or $300,000 in combination with a spouse. The other main way is to join an angel investment group. And an angel investment group of accredited investors who meet to entertain presentations by entrepreneurs seeking investment to start and grow their own companies. So this is very similar to Shark Tank. That's when you meet with angel investors. That's essentially what Shark Tank is. It's a bunch of angel investors who essentially they want royalties, they want a piece of the company, they want some sort of interest built upon their loan, like a regular loan. But sometimes when you deal with angel investors, it's much easier to get a loan, to get capital to start your business than going to a credit union or bank. Okay, but in some cases, when you're going to a private investor, when you're going to an angel investor, those interest rates are slightly maybe higher due to the risk and the nature of the business. Whereas though some cases, the bank loan may be a little bit cheaper for you, but essentially, I'm talking to those who want to be the private investor. A lot of you may like, oh, I'm thinking a private investor, I have to be a millionaire. No, you can have $5,000 and look for businesses in your area locally, okay, within a 30 to 50 mile radius who's looking for funding to start their business. So you come in as an angel investor, you come in as a private investor, and who knows the amount of money that you can put up to become become an investor and get a return of your investment, and as well become a silent partner. Because again, the reason why I like to say silent partner is because as a silent partner, you don't do anything. You give up the money and you don't do anything, okay? You may have a say-so or a portion of the business, a certain percentage of the business where you might have business decisions on the board. But this is very important for those who don't want to start their own business. Just to point out, one of my subscribers here who's a good friend of mine, Vern, he owns his own business. So I'm not thinking for the brother to look for an angel investor or somebody to get part of his business. But say if he didn't want to have his own business, but he wanted to be in business. Does that make any sense? He doesn't want to have his own business, but he wants to be in business. So essentially, when you invest in other companies, there is a risk of you losing your own money. But again, you want to make this very contractual. You want to make a contract so you can always get your money back, okay? Because there's a risk that business totally tanks. Now, think about the height of the pandemic, when most of us start to figure out, okay, this thing is going to last more than a year, more than 2 years. So essentially, people who are private investors and private partners who started their organization and investing in January, February timeframe, they're not looking to get any of their money back anytime soon. Okay. Whether it be federal and state legislation that is helping those people who took the risk of starting their own business and having the private investors to wait in order to get their return. But again, as the pandemic and this wave of vaccines occur, there's going to be opportunities of people trying to get more capital in order to maintain, sustain, and start their own business. What if you don't want to own your own business? I don't want to start my own business, but I still want to make good money. Before I move on, let's see who's in the chat. We got Vern, we got Charles, we got Jerome Jones. I think that's Idaho or something. And we got Steve Bryant saying peace. Charles Green says, I have a transportation company as well. Charles, what type of transportation company do you have? As I continue on, I will read that when I come back from this. But now, as we get into some more analytics, study financial analysis, economics, business management, and marketing, so you have a good grasp of what it takes to make a successful company if you're into starting your own business. But if you are new to private investing, an angel group is a good place to learn how more experienced investors choose their investments. Case in point, I have a couple of friends who the amount of money that they make is $1 million plus a year. I will go to them and ask, okay, what is the risk factors of me being an angel / private investor versus me risking my money in order to start my own business? Okay. Because think about it this year. So when I'm filing my taxes this year for my business, I have to file as a loss because I took a huge loss this year because, again, I started my business during a pandemic because I thought it was very intelligent to start, essentially my website. The business had already been in place, but to make it official, I started January of last year. To give people financial advice, financial information to help them live a better life. But in the pandemic of people waiting for stimulus checks, people losing their jobs, people being furloughed, people waiting for unemployment, the business did not take off as I would want it. At one point, I had a lot of clients, and then now I'm down. I could probably count the amount of clients I have on a set of hands. It's not a lot, okay? And most of those clients, they want consultations, what I kind of give for free. They don't even want to book sessions anymore. I've had live video calls of 15-minute consultations. They're trying to get the advice through the 15 minutes. And so I had to limit that because now people are trying to get the advice, trying to get the information without paying the cost. So essentially, there is a lot of risk when you own your own business, okay? Now we can get into owning your own business risk when it comes to if you are the only person, which is essentially a sole proprietorship, okay? If you are a multi-member, then most likely you have an LLC. But the problem is, especially in the Black community, a lot of us, we have our own business, but it's only one of us. So essentially, when you file your taxes, you're filing as a sole proprietorship because in order to have an LLC, you usually have to have one or more members. So essentially, if you have a family member, a good buddy, a spouse of some sort, they can be your multi-member in order for you to file differently. Then we can kind of get into C corporation and S corporation, but most likely, most of us are sole proprietorships and or LLCs. So come with that, building your website, paying someone to maintain your website, paying for the analytics of the SEO so people to find your website, then all the materials and all the graphic arts, all of those things cost money. Whether it be the Roswell logo that you guys see right here, wrong hand, right here, this Roswell logo, that costs money in order for somebody to create that because I'm not a graphic art designer. So a lot of things that it takes to start your business, whether it be, I had to pay for Zoom, and I had to pay for Restream, and I had to pay for StreamYard, for all different facets of starting your own business. This all costs money. So essentially, you'll see most business owners saving all of their receipts or going back over their financial statements and highlighting. Some of you do not want to start your own business, but you want to be in business. So being a private investor is the thing for you. And stop thinking that you guys need thousands and thousands of dollars. Some people are looking for people to put up $500. Some people are looking for people to put up $3,000. But the number that I consistently come up with is $10,000. In my opinion, that is essentially a good number for you guys to get inside of businesses and work out some sort of structured deal, contractual deal, legal deal with a seal, a notary seal, in order to make it a legal document just in case you don't get your money back. Now, hooking your boy up, hooking your girl up, trying to give them a couple of thousand to start their hair salon, nah, you want that in black and white. I don't care if it's your mother, your brother, your sister, your uncle, your cousin, your boy you've been knowing all of your life. If it's dealing with your money and you want a return on your money, or you at least want the money you invested back, then you want to put it in a contract. You don't want a little side deal. You don't want to have nothing verbal. Oh, well, let's record it. Nah, that's all admissible in court. That's all admissible in court. Because some people can chop that as a love gift or as a business gift or as a starter gift. You don't want to get into that. You want it in black and white. Like, hey, listen, I know we have an agreement. I know you my brother. But this is not about love. This is about business, and we need a contract. This is, again, if you want your money back. It's very, very important for those of you who do not want to start their own business, but you want to be in business, and being an angel/private investor could be the thing for you. But it does take a bit of legwork to find businesses, especially if you're coming in at a very low number. If you're coming in at a very low number, like anything under $10,000 in some businesses, don't look to find a business that's going to give you a high return. Now, anything above $10,000, depending on the nature of the business, will decide some of your return, will decide some of your profit, will decide some of the interest that you can essentially tack on to the business contract that you're making. This is very imperative for those who want to be in business without having a business. Okay. And then again, you may have the option, because of the amount of money that you're putting up, the amount of risk that you're taking on, that you become essentially a private investor or a silent partner. Okay. A silent partner because of your investment. All right. Let's see here. Charles Green says he's in hot shot trucking. Hot shot trucking. Okay. Steve Bryant, he said, had hot shot trucking business with enclosed trailer moving, high end and exotic autos. Very lucrative. Mistake was trying to run it alone. Total burnout after a year and a half. Sold everything. Steve, my brother, I absolutely understand. I know a lot of my brothers out there who have their own business and they are struggling for help. The problem is the amount of profit that you're coming in to sustain the business and to sustain the company, and then hire somebody on, and then hiring someone who's very, very reliable, but most importantly, they understand the business. See, essentially, when you're starting off by yourself, you need someone who understands you and the decisions that you make. They understand the business, they understand the risk, and someone who's reliable. That is the biggest problem in the Black community when we're starting business and we're looking for partners, or we're looking for someone to help us out in our business. It's reliability, because we can teach them the business. Yeah, I can teach you the business. This is what I would do in this situation. Give me a call if this occurs when I'm on vacation. But I can't teach reliability. I can't teach responsibility, reliability, or accountability. Like, no, why would you make that mistake? Why wouldn't you call me? You know that is a bad business decision. Then being reliable. Well, he's supposed to be here 2 hours ago. So some people don't want to take on the hardship. Some people don't want to take on the risk of owning their own business. Because again, it's going to take a lot of your extra time. So some people say, you know what? Well, I got 15, 20 grand that I can look for a company or organization who's starting up or who is in need of some cash. But again, even with being a private investor, there comes a lot of risk as well. You have to understand the industry and sector in which you're putting your money into. Because if you're just throwing money out there in the air, even with a contract, you're still obligated to lose. Because here's the thing. Let me tell you what protects most entrepreneurs from private investors. Bankruptcy. I can take 10 grand here, 10 grand there. And a lot of investors say, well, how am I going to get my money back? And then depending on that person, business savvy and their business intelligence can break down how exactly you will get your money back if they do not produce a certain amount of profit. So how do I get my money back in the 3 years if you're not profitable in 3 years? Well, essentially what I would do is I would sell off these assets. I will liquidate my investment accounts and I will pay you your money back. And they will put that in the contract. But essentially, sometimes when you take certain contracts to probate, that's court. Under the rules of bankruptcy, would it be Chapter 11 or Chapter 13? If they file Chapter 11, if I can recall correctly, they don't have to pay 1 red cent. Under Chapter 13, they possibly have to pay back some of the loans that they received. Some, not all. So this depends on what chapter of bankruptcy. So there's risk in being a private investor, but there's more risk, in my opinion, in owning your own business. Because right now it's proven a lot of people business concepts and business plans absolutely wrong. Now take it. Most businesses in the first 3 to 5 years always file as a loss. Always files as a loss. And I always tell people most businesses, depending on what you can do, you can start a business with $5,000. I released a video, I want to say about 2-3 years ago, of how I was basically structuring how to, giving people information on how to build their own business at $5,000. I mean, essentially I showed this yesterday, how a lot of Black owned businesses This is a fortunate unfortunate. This is a fortunate unfortunate, meaning that majority of the black businesses here in the Dallas area are either food or hair. People who cut hair, people who do hair, and people who have food places. Now, the reason why I said that's a fortunate unfortunate is because I would like for us to branch out into other sectors, like the trucking market. Perfect. That's transportation. I like Vern. He has his own, essentially, I don't know what he call it because he does a lot of high priced cars, like cars that are 80 grand all the way up to $1 million. He's a Vern. If you're still in the chat room, can you tell people essentially what is the nature of your business so people understand the name of it? But I believe there is a what do you call it when people show up at your place? There's a door-to-door service essentially. What is it called? When someone cut like a concierge car wash. That's what it is. Thank you. A concierge car wash, but he's not dealing with low bidding customers or low bidding customers. They're charged, he's getting $200-$300 per wash because he's washing Lambos, he's washing Ferraris, he's washing Shelbys, he's washing Maseratis, he's washing high dollar vehicles, and you're like, man, people are making hundreds of dollars for putting soap and water on a vehicle. But I'm not going to take any away from that brother's talent and his skill because there's a lot more science to it than I thought, because he broke it down to me in a little small conversation that we had a couple of months ago. So essentially, ladies and gentlemen, a business like that in Texas is great because this is a rare moment in Texas. We're having a winter storm moment, and right now we have snow outside. We're having rolling blackouts. This is unprecedented for Texas. But nonetheless, I'm pretty sure the brother's still doing pretty well because in certain parts of Texas, they don't really have any snow, or the snow was very light. And guess what? Those $1 million people with those fancy cars, they still want that car looking pristine. So I'm pretty sure his business is still doing good. Here he is. Vern Gibbs says that it's called mobile detailing. Thank you. I looked at it, concierge car washing, the concierge detailing, mobile detailing. I got it. All right, let's see here. We have Steve Bryant. He said 10K is also a good number to day trade and generate about $500 per day, work from home at your leisure. Good idea, Steve, but day trade takes a lot of training, takes a lot of experience, takes a lot of knowledge, and incurs a lot of risks. And this conversation is about not about day trading, because that's a whole nother different genre, my brother. Steve, I totally agree. Been like several times. Okay, I'm just moving along the messages here. High end where the money is. That is correct. When you start to cater to high end customers, you will start making a lot more money. My fiance, she is still pondering about starting her own salon. Right down the street from us, there is some retail space that, how much was the retail space? $3,000? The retail space to rent is $3,000 a month. Okay, $3,000 a month. That doesn't include the build out. That doesn't include the equipment. That doesn't include marketing, advertisement. Okay, that doesn't include the utilities. So think about this. There's a retail space right down the street that my fiance with me thinking about open up a salon. Now, in my area, there's a lot of Beckys, there's a lot of Susans, there's a lot of Karens. And Karens, Susans, and Beckys, they love to get their hair did, okay? Now, there is a good population of melanated people here, but essentially, we'll be catering to the majority, okay? We'll be catering to the majority because essentially that's where the money is when you cater to the majority. Because if you live in a black neighborhood, what do black people want? You go in that neighborhood and you do probing exercises. You do probing research. What do people want in this neighborhood? It's kind of like when I was living in Washington State. I was getting these surveys in Tacoma, Washington about what people want in Tacoma, Washington. Do you want a Chick-fil-A? Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want this? Do you know 6 months later, a Chick-fil-A popped up, and for the first 3 or 4 months, the line outside the door, The line was outside the door because the people wanted a darn Chick-fil-A. They wanted a chicken sandwich. But anyway, that's the point about doing research. So in this area, just doing a little bit of research, these Beckys, these Karens, these Susans, they want a hair salon. So in order to serve the people, we have to put in the risk factor. We have to think about all the associated costs with opening up a hair salon. So me personally, like, do I want to open up a hair salon? I know nothing about hair. Case in point, evidence number one. Okay, this is the only hair that I know about. Now, if they open up a beer shop, I'm like, yeah, I go there, get a little beer, get a little drink, you know. So you have to do your research. That's why I believe that in some cases, people will be more comfortable being a private investor. People will be more comfortable being a silent partner because the risk factors in some cases are lower than owning your own business. So let's talk about it. The hair salon, $3,000 to rent a month. How long was the contract? 5 years. So the contract that we had to sign into, let me repeat, the contract we had to sign into is a 5-year deal of a lease. So you have to lease 5 years in advance at $3,000 a month. Think about that. So $3,000 a month. Then the store has to be built out. Then the store is going to need equipment. When I mean built out is they have to mold the store in order to make it a salon, the decor, the art, the way the layout of the chairs and the sinks and the hair dryers and where the products are going to be, the back office, okay, the build out. So that's two. That's already we're at 2 financial obligations. Then number 3, the equipment. All the equipment, we're going to need the chairs and all the hair. Well, the hair salons will come with their own. But then we have to market and advertise the business. Number 4, we have to market and advertise the business in order to bring hairstylists in order to start generating customers. Because before you get the customers, you got to have the hair salons in place. You got to have the hairstylists in place before you get the customers. Because the customers are going to show up like, where the hairstylist at? We're still waiting. So you got to have the hairstylist in line. But before you have the hairstylist, you have to have the chairs in place and the dryers. And before you have that, you have to have the build out. And before you have to lease it. So again, and then the operating cost of the business. Number 5, the operating cost of the business. So essentially, I don't want to own my own business. That's what you're telling yourself. Like, no, I don't want to think about, oh, I want to open up a Wingstop like Rick Ross. I want to open up a Wingstop. First, I need to find maybe a previous Wingstop that somebody wants to sell. But why do they want to sell? Is it not lucrative in that area, in that district? Okay, well, it's not selling over there because guess what? Indians, they don't like fried chicken. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying this for an example. Indians, they don't like fried chicken. They like curry chicken. Okay. So that's why Wingstop is not doing well in an Indian majority ran neighborhood. So again, you have to serve the people if you're thinking about your own business. But for some of you, you don't want to own your own business. And I totally understand. There's a lot of risk. Like case in point, me and my fiance was talking about this house, right? I was looking at investment properties. I showed you guys of videos when I was in Michigan. My buddy Rob was showing me around how to build properties. I took a step back. I took a step back and I looked at the business. I was like, you know what? I need to come in this very passionate, very well educated and ready. You have to have a passion, okay? And I said, you know what? I'm gonna take a moment to see what I want to do. Do I just want to be an investor? Do I just want to be an investor, or do I actually want to go out and buy real estate property? Vern Gibbs, thank you, brother. I do appreciate your donation. He said, support Brother Ross. He's giving good information. Well, thank you, Vern. Thank you very much. Let me look at some of your notes, but Vern, I appreciate that love offering, brother. I do appreciate it. We have here, it says, let's see here. We got, Vern says 10K is the amount I started my business with. Okay. And essentially in some cases, I don't know if Vern used equipment or new equipment, because some people like, well, if I buy used equipment, I don't know what the equipment endured. There's no warranty. It's hard to insure used equipment. So they go out and buy new equipment. Now, when you, depending on what business you have, he has a mobile detailing business. I know a brother in the Dallas area. He has a white van. He has a mobile detailing business. He got all the water, all the solutions, and all the chemical and all the things that those mobile detailers use. I forgot the name, but you know, they be having all the waxes and all those things. And he told me he started his business with a roughly around 6,500. He said if I would have bought some of my equipment, some of my products at a discount or bulk rate, I probably could have started the business around 5,000. But roughly, most businesses, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not doing brick and mortar, then you can essentially start your business with $5,000. Now, when I think about mobile detailing, when I think about the guy in Dallas, I think about Vern. Vern has a trailer that he has all his equipment on, attached to his truck, where the other mobile detailer had a white van that was given to him by his grandfather, so he didn't have to come out there. But he had to pay for all the equipment therein. But when it comes to Vern, he had to pay for all the equipment, the water and all the rags and all the solutions and products, and also the trailer to drag it on. Okay, so he started his business with 10 grand. But most businesses, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, depending on what you're dealing with, you can start with $5,000. Now, granted, I always tell this because it was my most profitable business. I started with $500. I went on Wish. I went on the app Wish, and I bought like 300-400 pairs of shades. I bought like 300 to 400 pairs of shades, and I was selling them on base. I was selling them around the neighborhood for $25. And before that, I bought labeling because I used to make CDs. If anybody who knew me in the military, they knew me when I was stationed back at Fort Drum, New York. I was a CD man. I was making DVDs and CDs. Oh, you want Band of Brothers? How much is that? Oh man, it's $80 at the store. I give it to you for $40. $40? Man, is it bootleg? Nah, HD quality, man. HD quality. And it was always HD quality because people say, hey man, I want this. I'm like, that's not out yet. But the bootleg is, I said, I don't do bootleg. I do HD quality. So any business that I've ever had, when it came to making CDs and DVDs, because some people are like, yeah, I want all the Scarface CDs. I'm like, okay. And I was doing a lot of, what was it called back then? Give me a second, people. Give me a second, fam. What was it called back then? I was getting a lot of my movies. I was getting a lot of my software programs, a lot of my music. What was the programs we used to use? Like LimeWire, Bear, Azariz, Torrents. That's what it was. I was getting a lot of my stuff from downloading torrents, and I had some of the best torrent programs. I paid for some, but I was very, very profitable in that business. But again, that came with a lot of risk. And some of you say, you know what, Ross? Now that I think about it, I was thinking about this business. I don't want to do it. I'm not passionate. I'm not hungry enough. But here's the thing. Do you know that some of the richest people do some of the least work? Some of the most richest people in the world barely lift a finger. Can I give you some hints? Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is making stock decisions and is a billionaire. Now, Bill Gates, when he was younger, he put a lot of work in to grow Microsoft. But after he built Microsoft took off by itself. He got some programming, software engineers going, one of the richest people in the world. Think about that. Some of the most richest people don't do the work. They invest in other companies, they buy other companies, and then hire somebody else to run it. Like, where are you at today? I'm in Tahiti. Where are you at today? I'm in Aruba. Where are you at today? I'm in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Where are you at today? I'm in South Africa. Where are you at today? I'm in Greece. Where are you at today? I'm in Rome. Are you conducting business? I got my laptop and my cell phone. So what do you actually do? I'm an investor. So some people think, oh, an investor just simply means they invest in the stock market. That don't mean that. That doesn't mean that. You can invest in a business, organization, a corporation. You can invest in a buddy of yours that's contractual who's starting up a business. It doesn't matter. I wish I was the one who invested in fidget spinners. That is the most dumbest contraption, but one of the most smartest invention ever made. It's one of the dumbest contraptions, but one of the smartest inventions in all of mankind. For people who can't sit still for a second, for people who can't sit still for a moment, they just got a fidget spinner. They just spin it. Just think about that. Somebody just mechanically made something that you can hold and then spin. And it sold millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars. I mean, literally, somebody say, you know, I always need something to do. Oh, you know what? I'm going to get something where I can just fidget around. And they got a fidget spinner. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, if you come up with a great idea like that, please contact me. I will invest. I remember when I was a young kid, I was mesmerized. I was entertained by the click clack. Anybody remember the click clack? Where you do like this? I'm going to look it up real quick. I got to show you guys the click clack. I don't even know if I can spell it. You know how to spell click clack? You know how to spell click clack? I don't know how to spell click clack. Let's see. I'm trying to find out what I'm just curious with click clack. Okay. Here it is. Here's the one they used to sell in the hood. I'm about to show you guys this. Some of you guys who are as old as me. Okay. Where's this click clack at? This is a childhood fun toy. Some people did yo-yos. I did the click clack. I was in love with the click clack. Okay, let me see if I can share. Give me a second, guys. Let me share this. Let me go ahead and share this old click clack. Y'all know about that click clack, man. Y'all know about that. Y'all know about that click clack. Let me see. They got large knocker balls. That's not what it was called. So here's the click clack. They selling these and then they're calling it large knocker balls. I don't like that term at all. But they selling that thing for $17. Dude, this is only hard plastic with two balls on the end where you can essentially start getting a rhythm of clacking and clicking back and forth. That's all it is. To me, it's the same thing as a smaller fidget spinner. When you really think about it, it's just a click clack. That's what a click clack, but that's a small invention that essentially I probably would have invested in. Okay. But when you think about, ladies and gentlemen, you don't need a lot of money to invest if you don't want to have your own business. Vern says $5K for truck and $5K for trailer and products. So essentially, he bought his own truck with 10 grand. He bought his own truck and his own trailer. And here's a term when you guys think about when you are indebted to yourself. When you are indebted to yourself, that means you take your hard working money that you saved up, whether it be out of your 401k, out of your emergency savings, out of your IRA, whatever you have, you take your hard working money and you invest in yourself like Vern did, okay? Like Vern did, and he spent $5K for his truck, for his mobile detailing business, and then $5K for his trailer and products. So automatically he's at a loss. He's minus $10K. The only time that Vern started making money is when he started to surplus $10K. And that included operating costs. That included the resupplying of his product. See, what people don't understand about business is not only, I'm going to buy these products and I'm going to sell them and I'm going to make a lot of money. No, operating costs, his truck, maintenance for his truck, oil for his truck, gas for his truck, anything that occurs mechanically with his truck, he has to get fixed. He has to put part of that as operating costs because his truck is going to be maintenance. How many miles is he driving? That's another key. Is he going to pay himself when it comes to taxes for the amount of miles that he's driving? That's one. Then two, maintenance on the trailer, making sure that the wheels are properly inflated, making sure that he have things strapped down so things don't fall off. The equipment and products that he used on that. Did he wash it? When he's washing his microfiber rags, he had to pay for washing detergent for that. The electricity that he's using from his home to wash those washcloths and rags. People don't think about business on a very minuscule level, and that is why you're not doing good, and that is why you're not wealthy. And then in some cases, me personally, I have let businesses fall by the wayside because of my previous occupation, the military, where I could not sustain the business for a long time. So that's why you see a lot of my business with very small businesses. I can pick up, drop, and go. Shades, boom. CDs, boom. I can just leave it. I can sell them. Hey, man, you can have these shades. I already made my money and I can run. But when you do a mobile detailing business, when you do a trucking business, when you have a hair salon, you might want to be local. You might want to be in charge of your own stuff. Because essentially, again, using Vern as the example, he started off at a negative 10,000 K. So when you practice all the operating costs of him washing his rags, buying new rags, when those are torn, or they're probably not at the right fibers, I guess. I mean, I'm not that savvy when it comes to that, but he don't want to scratch up somebody's vehicle, and then all of the high detailing products that he's using. Okay. So he has to make a price sheet. Okay. And then a price sheet is like, okay, he had to sit down and think, maybe with a financial advisor, maybe with a CPA, maybe with an accountant, and say, hey, listen, this is where I'm at. I paid this amount of money to start my business. This is my operating costs. When I sum everything up, how much do I need to charge people with certain packages in order to be profitable? Those are the questions, because a lot of us do this by ourselves, and you might need help. But again, there's a lot of risk when you start your own business, and you might just want to be a private investor. Because if Vern would have came to me and say, hey, Ross, man, I'm thinking about this mobile detailing business. I'm going to ask him 1,000 questions. And I say, hey, are you willing to put this in a contract? And then in all the details, we will put it in the contract. And now we'll give him the $5,000. And I'm like, well, after this a certain amount of time, I'm going to start to expect payments. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to expect payments within a month or 2 months. I'm going to give the brother 6 months to a year before I start seeing a return on my investments. Because again, I have to make sure that the business does well. This is how you get paid. When you become a private investor or an angel investor, you want to make sure that that business is doing well so you get your money. And here's another thing. If you become a good private/silent partner, guess what occurs when that company wants to innovate? When that company wants to start a new product, develop a new line, they say, hey, Ross, hey, man, you got your money back. You're a silent partner. You're getting 15% of my business. Can you forego another 5K? Can you forego another 10K? And we can extend the contract, and I'll give you 20%, or I'll make you 25% of the business. Like, but in this contract, I don't want you to have no decisions because I'm doing well by myself. Like, nah, brother, you have been doing me well, and we have a good business relationship. Yes, I'll take the 25%. After 6 months, I'll start taking that extra payment of your new innovation, your new invention, your new product line, whatever the case may be. Okay. So being a private investor comes with risk, as I explained earlier, but it can be very, very profitable. Let's see here. Steve Bryant says, I know brothers with amazing talent, mechanics, stone masons, electricians, master woodworkers. They would just rather work for someone else than put in the work to start their own business. When you really think about it, I know, Steve Bryan, you would want those brothers to be in business for themselves, but some of us lack the passion. Some of us lack the courage. It takes courage to go out on your own. It takes a lot of gusto, a lot of self-determination, discipline. Discipline is the main thing. Discipline is the main thing. A lot of my military brethren, they get out and start their own businesses because they're already disciplined. They know once they set their mind to it, it's like we are part of the strategic planning of a mission. Like, first, we need to do this. We need to conquer, attack Avenue A, and we need to attack Avenue B, and simultaneously, we need to bring back opposition forces in order to, accomplish the mission, something like that. But when it comes to a military mindset, we want to do this. This is how we do it, and this is how we get about doing it. And then we just do it. That's the discipline. And if we fail, we're like, oh, that didn't work. Back to the drawing board. Okay. We have the same strategic mindsets that we do in the military, which helps us to start and to continue to do well in business. Because we don't know how to let a mission fail. But then again, we understand when we didn't do good, and that's the reason why our mission failed. So we go back on a after action review, and we say, these are the things that we did right. These are the things that we do wrong. These are the things that we should do better next time. So that helps us to be very disciplined. That helps us to even take fear out of the equation. Like, okay, it didn't work out. It's just money. So let me save up another 5 to 10 grand and go at this business venture. But then again, for you, like your buddy, Steve Bryant, who are electricians, stonemasons, woodworkers, etc., they may not want the risk. But here's the thing. If you want to start your own business, Steve, or you may need some more capital, then those guys may be your private investors. You get what I'm trying to say? Because here's the thing. It goes both ways. Maybe you're looking for a private investor to start your own business. You have a passion. You have a love. Like, you want to make ice cream. You want to make the most healthiest ice cream, plant-based ice cream out of almond milk. I don't know, right? But that's what you want to do. You have a passion. You have a love. You know how to do it. You even have somebody helping you structure the business. You have somebody helping you with the finances, but you don't have the money and you don't want to go to a bank, or you don't want to go to a credit union, or your credit score may suck and you may can't afford it, but you have a great product and you just need somebody to taste it. Once somebody tastes it, you know that you're going to get an investment. You know you're going to get somebody to invest money inside your company. But with that, again, be very cognizant, be very aware that somebody say, well, love the product, love the branding, I love the labels, but in order for me to get inside this business, I'm going to need 15%. I'm going to need 15% at 20K. I'm going to need 15% at 10 grand. And then they're going to start asking you, essentially, what's your evaluation of your business? Because when you come to an investor, they're going to say, well, how much do you want? You're like, oh, well, I need 25K. Then they say, okay, what is your offer of my percentage of interest? You say, I was thinking 5%. That's essentially, they're going to say, well, you are essentially saying that your business is worth this amount of money. Nah, how about I give you 20K and you give me 15%? Okay. So you have to be ready for that as well. And granted, watching seasons of Shark Tank will help you with your pitch. Seasons of Shark Tank will help you to understand why investors give you those high numbers of either royalties, being solid partners, or high interest inside your business until they get their money back. This is very important. This is very imperative. All right, what do we have here? Oh, we got Shauna in the room. Shauna said, I'm late. I'm a little early, Shauna. That's what I am. I just started one because, again, guys, I'm here in Texas in the Dallas area, and we have rolling blackouts. I think we're in a period now that they give us 3 hours of power, but before then, they have been giving us 30 minutes of power, 45 minutes blackout. They call it rolling blackouts because it's 19 degrees here. We have 3 to 5 inches of snow on the ground. I'm from Washington, D.C. 3 to 5 inches is nothing. My fiance originally from California. That's nothing in those states who are prepared for snow. But listen, in Texas, everything stopped. They're like, hey, winter storm warning. Everybody stay in. Does anybody need emergency help for 3 to 5 inches? I'm like, really? This is nothing. But no one is driving in the neighborhood or nothing. All right. Let's see here. Steve Bryan says, who is doing the groundskeeping and vegetarian control by these Boondock solar farm locations? That's a very good question. I do not know. I hate to say I do not know. Right now, believe it or not, I am still contemplating real estate investing where I'm buying my own properties. I am also contemplating investing in inventions. I'm also contemplating investing in startup companies, either be local businesses or something that I can do essentially online. Okay. Let's see here. Let me see. Is anything I have to cover before I leave you guys? But again, I want you guys to take a serious look at your finances, and you should be able to invest $10,000 to $25,000 in a company without worrying whether you will lose your entire investment. Because we have to understand that venture investing is not a sure way to riches. In fact, it is more often a way for a tax write-off. Because when we look at the numbers and analysis, as many as 50% of startup companies go out of business within their first 5 years. See, that is what you have to be very, very aware of. 10 to 25K will probably get you in the door investing in most small businesses, if not all small businesses. Okay. But businesses in the first 5 years, 50% of them just go away. They no longer exist. They go out of business. They have more debt than they have income. And inside of that contract, Lord have mercy on your soul. If inside of that contract, if there's no sort of clause or reclama of some sort of statement that they will sell off their house and their personal investments of you getting your money back, charge it to the game. I'm telling you right now. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, I'm back. I don't know what I did. I'm back. I hit something, man, I tell you. Okay. But let me show you this. I'm glad StreamYard is better than Restream. That would have been a wrap. But I'm going to show you my investment on Robinhood here and how if some of you guys been with me, I was up 41,000. Now I'm down to 30,000. That's an $11,000 drop. Let me blow this up. Give me 1 second. And I'm showing you how much I'm down in all of my options, mainly Tesla. Okay, I'm blowing it up for you guys. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen here. Yes, indeedy. I lost all this money. Look at this. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. That's my Tesla, and I'm down $5,200 on Tesla. That is the risk that I took on that option trade, thinking I was going to make good money. There's only one plus side to this. The plus side to this investment is this option call expires March 5th. So with Tesla being so volatile, easily as I'm losing $5,200, that's our vacation money. But anyway, she looked over here. She said, what? That was the vacation money to Trinidad or Virgin Islands. So instead of having jerk chicken, we're just going to have somebody who jerks chickens. But we're not having jerk chicken. We're going to have somebody who jerks chickens, okay? I don't know if that's sexual or not, but taken in kind. All pun intended. All pun, okay? But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, I had to show you that. That is the program for today. Guys, you have to ask yourself a hard question. Do you want to start your own business? And if you do, are you disciplined enough? And then for those who say, I don't want to start my own business, I would just rather be an investor, then make sure that you have someone who's savvy with business contracts and or a lawyer to look it over so you're not being duped, tricked, manipulated, scammed in any fraudulent type of business. Make sure it's legitimate. Again, when you start putting up $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $25,000, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, that's a lot of money still today. You can do a lot with $5,000. You can do a lot with $5,000. Well, for me, I can do a lot with losing $5,200. I mean, that's somebody's martial arts money. Ain't that right, James? Yeah. He just gonna be looking at Bruce Lee. He ain't going to martial arts. I'm losing $5,200. He gonna be looking at Bruce Lee on the television talking about what time? All right, guys, I'm out. I'm tripping now. See, Steve said, and it paid off, very happy, but still kicking Robin the crew when I went to WeBull. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's me for today. You guys have a great, wonderful day, and hopefully I can go outside when the snow melts tomorrow. This is Financial Literacy 101. Learn money and be inspired. I'm out.